I think in the coaching community, especially in the South Florida area, I think we can build a strong coaches association, and that's with on the private school sector as well as the public school, and that's something that we haven't done, or we haven't even took a step in doing. And that's what I really want to see, is for all of us coaches to come together and build that type of fraternity, so that way we can be able to do things and also be accommodated. Number one is to be accommodated for our services that we've been doing over the years, because basketball is definitely not a seasonal sport.
Welcome everybody to Game Changers with Fabian Lyon. I'm delighted to have as guests Melvin Randall. Melvin has won a state record 9 state titles, and it's a delight to have him here. We're going to talk about his great career, where he's been, where he is now, and where he hopes to take it in terms of him leaving Ely and going to Chaminade Madonna School. And also delighted to have Cilk McSweeney, a former star for Dillard High School, who is making his own name in the coaching ranks, winning the state title 3 years ago with Calvary Christian out of Fort Lauderdale. So delighted to have these gentlemen on. I covered Cilk when he was a player back in the day. And now just to see him taking the ranks and learning from the likes of Coach Burrs and Coach Randall, and having win a state title in his first 5 years, I believe, is just remarkable. We're waiting to join us Josh Minott. He is a 6'9" star forward out of Boca St. Andrews, and he's coming off winning a state title. So we will have on the show 3 state champions in their own right. So first of all, thank you and welcome, Coach Randall and Coach McSweeney.
What's up, Fabian?
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
Okay. And Coach Randall, needless to say, I've covered you for 20 years, and you just keep racking up the records, winning multiple state titles in 3 different decades at 2 different schools. And I see the hat you have on tonight. You have made that decision to leave after, I believe, 18 years at Powerhouse Blanche Ely, a historic great school, for Madonna and Chaminade Madonna. Just talk about that, Coach, and what led to your decision.
Well, I'm moving from a tiger to a lion, and I think I wanted to challenge within myself the private school sector. I've always been in the public school system and coaching for maybe 26 years total, and I just want to bring that energy that I've accumulated over the years from Deerfield and Ely, and to actually change the culture at Chaminade Madonna.
Okay.
And it's going to be kind of challenging being my first year, and I know I'm under a microscope, and which is okay. And through my blessings and the people that I have surrounded around me, we're going to make it happen.
Okay. And just to talk a little bit, Coach, about leaving a school that you really elevated to that national status, and you won National Coach of the Year, I believe, in 2015. And most recently, you were recognized as having the #4 public school in the entire nation for a 10-year span. And what all those accolades means to you while at Blanche Ely.
Well, I definitely appreciate those accolades. As I said before, it's the surrounding or the company that you keep around you that helps you build your program in that situation. And it was pretty hard, leaving Ely after being there after 18 years. And building Ely has always had a program, but to move it up to another level was challenging. And to get it to a place where I wanted it to be, it's kind of hard leaving, and I prayed on it, and the time was now.
Okay. And Cilk, you are, first of all, thank you for coming on as a special guest co-host. And we have Josh with us. How are you doing, Mr. Minott?
Doing well. How are you?
Okay. Glad
some technical difficulties.
No worries, man. Glad you could make it. Cilk, just talk about maybe your transition from player to coach and having these coaches like, as I said, Coach Burris and Coach Randall around to really, pick up some pointers from. How has that really helped you in becoming a up-and-coming young coach?
Well, not too many people know. When I finished at Penn State, I ended up playing 4 seasons, into 5 seasons professionally overseas in Iran. I played a season in Iran, played 4 in Puerto Rico, was able to play a year in Italy, and so that journey after that ended up taking me into just training and doing camps and things like that. Through that process, keeping relationships and making relationships with younger players in the community, and also giving back to Dillard, and then that kind of led me into wanting to coach, and so that was a process there. But Calvary basically started in 2000, and really didn't have an athletic program as far as basketball and things like that. So they brought in the right coaches, like the football coach. He came from college, Coach Hoser and stuff, and created a culture that he was able to change things through football. And then they brought me in, and it was a battle for sure, because you played at a certain level, so that's what you're used to. Just seeing how Coach Burrows did everything, and the players that we played with, and Steve Allen was with me the whole time, and that's my brother-in-law. He played at Clemson, played in D-League overseas, and so the level that we seen and that we were used to, just stepping back, that was probably the toughest challenge, just stepping back into dealing with certain kids that didn't have a passion for the game. So we just wanted to really change that, and I think that's just the toughest process in coaching certain kids, because when you're dealing with the private school sector, you're dealing with kids who have other options, So and that's the biggest thing. They have other options where they're brilliant kids. They have other options financially. They're gifted in different ways, resource-wise, and you're just trying to create a passion for that you have, and you're trying to instill in the kids. So I think that was the biggest thing. But Coach Burrows helped me the last 8 years. I'm going into my 8th season.
Okay.
Always been able to pick up the phone, bounce some ideas, hear about different tournaments and stuff like that, and he's been helping us out for sure.
Okay. And this kind of I'm going to bring in my 3rd game changer on the show, and that's once again Josh Minott, 6'9" star forward out of Boca St. Andrews. Josh was instrumental in leading that school after quite a few near misses. They finally got over the hump, and then Josh was a star, helped carry them to that state title. And Josh, I wanted to ask you, how has your life changed since that historic moment for you in Lakeland?
In all honesty, I mean, it's really back to normal, still the same work ethic, every single day. It's not like anyone's letting up just because you won, state championship, anything like that. It was definitely, a great experience, though. Just the opportunity to, really bring Coach O's first one. I mean, it's been quite a long time. I think people will tell you, 35 years with no title. It's like, so it was really great to get him his first ring. But other than that, I mean, how's life changed? I mean, it hasn't changed much, all honesty, man. We're going back to the same workout schedule, same routine. Still getting that work in every day and trying to get another one.
Right. And for those who might not know, all three, Josh as one of the top players in the state, and Cilk is the coach for Calvary Christian, and Coach Randall taking over at Chaminade. You will all three be battling it out in 3A. So I find it ironic that we're all on the same show today, and maybe friends today, but maybe down the road once the season starts, it's going to be a rivalry all over again. So.
Oh yeah, it'll be a good rivalry.
Yeah.
A good rivalry.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to. Oh, sorry to cut you off, Coach. You finished?
That's okay.
Okay. I do want to say this, Josh. We actually lost in the semifinal. We were Josh them won that beat Westminster. We were supposed to play for the finals, but we did lose that to the #1 seed, and they ended up taking over. But I want to say this. I am proud of Josh because Josh he had a consistent season with the eyes on him, pressure on him, and I want to say it's great because a lot of people don't think that if you do well during your high school season, you can get recruited on that next level. And and Josh, you don't know this. A lot of schools called me to ask me what I thought about you, and I said some great things about you and stuff like that. But I love that because you didn't play AAU this year, and so a lot of times, a lot of AAU guys, and I think it's a problem that a difference that a lot of AAU directors and high school coaches can't get along. But it like you definitely set us like the stage for you play well in your high school years on that level, and success comes. The offers will come and your dream schools will come. You know what I mean? So I'm proud of you, bro, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And if I can add a little piece on to that, I had an encounter with Mr. Josh. So I would say that I kind of added on to that journey to state. He played, the kid wouldn't miss. I mean, he played an exceptional game against us. And I want to say to you, Josh, I wish you the best of luck on your way in playing into the Atlantic Athletic Conference. And I know you'll do well because you get it. You got your head on right and just stay focused.
Yeah.
Thank you. One thing I could definitely tell you, I mean, it was something. Look at the sideline. I'm just looking at this man's hands. He had like, I think 5 rings on one hand. Like, I'm like, geez, man. I'm like, I was just standing here, like, he was just blinged out. I'm like, jeez.
He was like Phil Jackson, huh? So crazy, man, crazy.
You can't even say anything to him, bro. Like, it's like, all you can do is respect him, man.
Gonna run out of fingers pretty soon. But Coach, what would you say to Coach and Cilk? What would you say to Josh right now in terms of you've had a number of obviously athletes go on to that next level, and what would you tell him right now as far as that transition from your experiences? And you obviously both you played out at the Division I level as well.
Well, I would definitely say to Josh is be a good listener and be willing to work hard at that next level and don't expect a handout, so that way you don't have to worry about having over your shoulder that you owe this person. Go after your dream. Go after your dream and stay true to yourself. And work extremely hard and listen to your coaches there, and the sky's the limit for you, kid.
Yeah. I mean, Coach Randall touched on everything, but I think like on top of that, I definitely think that skill-wise, continue working on your jump shot. And the biggest thing, work on your strength. You know what I mean? Like, as far as building your body up and stuff, because I think that on top of what Coach Randall said on the court, those gaps are going to close quicker. Guys are going to be just as big as you, stronger than you. You're playing versus older kids, so but you have great coaches now. Coach O played at Rutgers, and also Cody Topper and Penny. Those guys, they're gonna get you right, So, but just those are the two biggest things that you can do right now. Work on your strength and continue working on that jump shot.
Okay. Josh, well, you made a verbal commitment to Memphis and Penny Hardaway, and tell me why the early decision and what really drew you to that program more than others.
Well, in terms of timing, I know definitely with the whole, pandemic going around, it's really sped up people's decisions, really sped the timetable up. In terms of like my decision though, I mean, I really felt like, Coach Hardaway really just provided that best opportunity to really help me achieve what I want to achieve with the game. I really like the fact that, he's a successful player that's played at a size and, the skill level that I'm trying to play at, that big guard mentality, that big guard aspect. And I really felt like, if anyone, knew as much or knew how to do it, reach my goals, and it'd be him, considering it's basically my size doing the things I want to do. And I really have a great relationship with Coach Topper as well. I really like that NBA analysis approach he brings to the table, each game, stuff like that. Really like, touches upon like different specific things that can really help me get better. And I just like, their development. I really feel like they can help me develop into the player I want to be.
Right, no doubt. And once again, we're all proud of you again, and know that you've worked hard to get to where you're going. Coach Randall, I wanted to ask you about this new small ball that's Golden State especially made kind of chic right now the last 7 years maybe, and in covering you, that is something that you were doing 20 plus years ago in terms of 4 guards, sometimes 5 guards, a 6'4" post, the undersized post most of the times. Just tell me about kind of revolution, just having this different concept that has really revolutionized, I believe, high school basketball down here in Florida.
Right. Well, I'm coming out of high school, South Plantation High School. I can give them a plug there. I was like a what you call a tweener. I was too big for guard and too small for forward, and I kind of played a small forward coming out of South Plantation. And I had to really be converted into a point guard and a shooting guard, and I had to work extremely hard to get there. I mean, I was a pretty well-developed athlete physically as well as mentally, but there was a transition that I had to make from that playing forward, small forward, to a guard, and I did it well at Mercer. I want to know why Josh didn't have Mercer in mind as one of his choices. Mercer University. No, I'm just kidding. Josh made a good choice with a coach that can play the same position that's going to help develop you as that type of player. But I would always, like you said, 20 years ago, my biggest player or tallest player that I had was probably about 6'3", 6'4". Remember Michael Joseph?
Right, and he played. I think he went to Citadel after, right?
Went to Citadel afterwards.
Okay.
Correct. And I had to set up a game scheme with those type players. So in running, having a background in track and field, and of course basketball, I wanted to utilize the quickness of the players to overcome that size, that disadvantage that we had with size. And it was, I called it track basketball, up tempo, baseline to baseline, and not giving my opponents a chance to set up to play a half court game and to really have their big man to post up. So it was a quick, controlled run and shoot type thing. And I've been doing that, like you said, since for the last 20 years, and been very blessed and going that route. And there have been some years that I've had some bigs that I was very successful at, but for the most part, it was creating that culture, as you say, with the small or even the tweener type player that had to play post at 6'3" against a 6'8" or a 6'9".
Okay. And needless to say, you are going to be taking that blueprint to Chaminade now, and Deerfield, Blanche Ely, and now Chaminade. And have you ever wavered in that philosophy when things maybe weren't going as well during a season? And talk about sticking to your guns, so to speak, and saying, this is my blueprint, this is what's been successful. I'm not going to start changing things around.
That is my attitude, is to, because just like, in the classroom as an educator, you feel that every child can learn. And I feel that every athlete or team that I encounter can challenge and learn that type of style. And I never wavered any changes with my philosophy of that up-tempo style type basketball. But, there are times whereas I would have to defensively, when you have the guards, they're not as skill developed as far as good shooters, and they have outstanding post players, then I would get in the zone. But for the most part, 99.5% of the times, I'm in a man-to-man.
Okay. And Josh, you seem to be the prototype player that's being recruited now, 6'8", 6'9", can play multiple positions. Just talk about your evolution as a skilled wing player. And has it always been, did you always start out handling the ball, or that's something that just developed in the past couple of years for you?
I know a lot of people, like, a common misconception, people seem to think that, like, I'm a guard that just got, like, a growth spurt out of nowhere, and, like, I just happen to be this, this tall. But I've actually never had a growth spurt. I've just been growing, like, 2 to 3 inches every single year for, like, my whole life. And I was fortunate enough to meet Coach Roosevelt Gray. And, he's really just developed me into that guard player. I mean, I was, probably a little taller than everyone else in, like, 4th, 5th grade. And, instead of playing like center, all that, we're doing ball hand. I'm doing the same thing, the guards are doing, they're doing, dribble between the legs, pull up, jump shot, come off screen, stuff like that, all that guard skill. And I mean, where I'm at today is really just repetition of, that stuff. I've been doing it for like the last 7 years and 7+ years probably. And I mean, it's really just, repetition, just ball handling, shooting, passing, creating shots, stuff like that. I feel confident enough to run the one. At the same time, I mean, I feel like I have the ability to really get into high and low, stuff like that, just different things. It really just created that versatility.
Mm-hmm. Is there one or two players that you've had in your game after, whether in college or in the pros right now?
All honesty, I haven't really even modeled my game after players, but I do enjoy watching, I think, Paul George. Probably that's my favorite player.
Mm-hmm.
People seem to think I play more like KD right now. But I'm trying to get into that Paul George and really implement that, that ball handling, that guard skill that, he has despite his height.
Okay. And Cilk, I want to ask you about, just what we're kind of going through, some unprecedented times with this pandemic, and Coach Randall as well, how you've had to adjust are coming into, there's nothing normal about this. Coming into this season now, what are your thoughts in terms of the kind of uncertainty of the start of the season and how each of you are approaching it?
I mean, myself, I'm actually on the athletic staff over at Calvary, and so we've been monitoring it closely with the emergency FHSA meetings, and then the one that just recently happened, allowing fall sports to start. And but I think the administration behind Calvary, the leadership, it has been great. Like just taking the proper precautions of allowing fall sports to happen, and they're going to end up starting next Monday. So football, volleyball, the rest of the fall sports, and so we're able to actually get on the floor and do some certain workouts and stuff like that. With social distancing and things like that, just doing individual drills and skill stuff. So it's been cool. I mean, just being able to get back, but it's different. It's different, and I'm hoping, I'm praying that we're able to get under this by November, so we can have some fun, man, and be able to have fans come out and being able to. And we have some tournaments that we're planning on traveling to outside the state, and a couple of them been canceled, the one in Las Vegas and the one in LA, because they moved their seasons back to March. So we had to choose a couple different events to go to, but we're just waiting and seeing, and just trying to keep ourselves safe and our family safe and stuff like that.
Okay. And Coach Randall, how are you looking at this whole?
Well, to piggyback off of what Coach Cilk was saying, believe it or not, I haven't even met any of the returning players, or actually administration. I've only spoken with or to the athletic director, which is also new at Chaminade Madonna. Haven't been in the gym with any of the players, and Fabian, you know me, I'm a gym rat, and it's like I'm going in deep sweats, not being able to get in the gym with players and working them out and preparing them for the next school year. But we're on hold, because of this pandemic. I understand that and get that, and safety and health is more important. So I'm kind of like waiting back until we get the word, or till I get the word that I'm able to get a couple players in the gym, and of course abide by that social distance and all that.
Right. Okay. I do want to ask both of you, and then I'm going to get to Josh right after. What would you fix right now, or what improvement would you want to see in the coaching community?
I think in the coaching community, especially in the South Florida area, I think we can build a strong coaches association, and that's with on the private school sector as well as the public school, and that's something that we haven't done, or we haven't even took a step in doing. And that's what I really want to see, is for all of us coaches to come together and build that type of fraternity, so that way we can be able to do things and also be accommodated. Number one is to be accommodated for our services that we've been doing over the years, because basketball is definitely not a seasonal sport. It's a year-round sport, and we put in the hours, and we get those kids, and it's for those kids. And we get those kids in the gym, but this stipend thing, to me, is long overdue. I think it should be created as some sort of salary, like some states have, like I believe Georgia has that, and Texas. So that way it can accommodate us as coaches, and also some bonus type pay, you know, and winning your district or winning your regional states or those things like that. And, you know, and I am totally grateful for the dinner and the plaque that we get, you know. But, you know, I think it's time to get paid for our services, you know.
Put some meat on the bones a little bit there.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Cilk? What first comes to mind?
I mean, Coach Randall kind of said, kind of what I was thinking too. But I mean, if I would say anything, probably, I mean, the payments and salary wise and stuff like that. I think Calvary's been. I'm not complaining. I think that they've done a great job with helping me out and my family and stuff like that. But I think I just wish coaches can collaborate more I mean, and I think that'll do some more things. I think that'll help other coaches with their events. I think that'll help other coaches' kids.
Right.
Being able to be seen and get more exposure. I mean, I'm pretty sure you look at Coach Randall's cell phone, man, he probably has millions of coaches' phone numbers that he can call at the drop of a dime and be able to help a kid out and vice versa, you know, like with Coach Burrows and things like that. So I think we should just help each other out more, you know, like, and it'll help kids out more and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know, I can't complain, man, but the biggest thing is probably payments and stuff like that. So.
Okay. All right. Now, Josh, what you and Coach Randall have in common, Coach has actually defended his state title 3 times, which is a feat in itself, and you are looking to do that for the first time. Do you expect, just tell me what you expect as far as the attention every time you take the court now. I assume you'll have a heavier scoring load. And are you prepared for what opposing teams are going to bring this season to you?
I know with every, you know, achievement you have in life, I mean, there's always going to, you know, be that target on your back. Like, I know now that I'm committed, you know, people are going to probably see me as like, oh, there goes Memphis. You got to start, you know, you got to snap on them, you know, let's really go hard. So I definitely feel like that state championship, you know, definitely that target on our back, you know, you're probably going to see us as the state champs, you know, they're going to give us their all. Like, I know, like, this last year, you know, it was like teams were coming at us with, like, you know, we look at the scouting reports on, like, you know, teams that they played, like, okay, no, like, you know, they did pretty well here. Then they play against us. It's like a different team. Like, we're like, where was this, you know?
Right.
Definitely going to be like that, you know? So we should really expect, you know, everyone's A game. And, I mean, we should be prepared for it. I mean, yeah, they're going to, we're working hard, you know, summer, off season. Everyone's doing their own thing, you know, our individual workouts, stuff like that. So, I mean, I really feel like we'll be prepared for all the smoke that comes in the future.
For the smoke, okay. Coach Randall, how hard was it? Just talk about that second season after winning it. How hard was it to defend the state title 3 times nonetheless?
It's extremely hard. Just like Josh said, you have a target on your back, and you know, you have opponents' fans as well as people that are against you. For an example, chanting "overrated," and you know, it's a lot of pressure. But you have to keep in mind how you got there the first time, and don't change anything. You know, because just like Josh said, there are teams that have scouted, or my coaching staff has scouted, and they, for some reason, they played like they were a decent team, but then they played like a Duke or a Kentucky against us. You know, and I get that, but you know, and going back to back, of course, it's going to be a lot of luck. A lot of luck is going to play in factor with that. Also, and keeping your faith and staying focused and never allowing anyone to change who you are that made you get to that point the previous year. So that's what I was saying, and stay true to yourself and continue to lead your team, and you'll be okay.
Okay.
But I just don't want you to be okay this coming season.
Josh, do you have that one? Do you have that one rival, whether at AAU or high school, that you just want to go after him every time you take the court? Is there that one guy there that you just want to tear him up?
I don't have a one person. I have
everybody.
It's
Okay.
everyone, man. Like
you got a Mamba mentality.
Yeah, I'm trying to take names. You know, I mean, play against the team, and I'll hear this kid and be like, "Yo, he's amazing. He's he's all this." I'll be like, "You sure, bro? They don't see, bro." So I'm definitely going at my own with all the people. I mean, another thing is, I mean, you can ask anyone around me, bro. I never look at rankings. I never look at like followers, social media. All honesty, I'm not big into it. But it's like, I go to like a local park or something to hoop, and like I hear them call, a random person, Bobby B, better than me. I'm like, you sure, bro? Mm-hmm. So the next time I see Bobby B on the court, it's like, yo, I'm really gonna like make it obvious who the better player is. That's every time I step on the court. I mean, I don't really have one rival that I'm really, just neck and neck with. I mean, I give them all every time I step on the court, man. I mean, it's life or death, like right now, talking to Coach Van to Coach Cilk, we're friends, chill, off the court, everything's chill, man. But come game time, I don't know you, I don't like you, we are not friends. Like,
that's the attitude to have.
I'm sorry, man, but off the court, everything's sweet, but there's no games when that buzzer starts.
Business time, no doubt. Cilk, I wanted to ask you, you're the first from Broward to win as a player and as a coach's state title. Which was more satisfying, if one was? And I want you to talk about your faith, man, because you always carry yourself and speak about what your faith means to you. And I just want you to speak on that.
Your first question, that was asked to me a few times, and both meant a lot. But I would probably end up saying probably coaching, because I mean, game in, game out, it is a lot of luck. Like the year we won it, that was a year that only 2 can advance out of each district. It wasn't how it was now, whatever. And that semifinal game, we were the first seed. We were playing the Hefner twins at Pinecrest with Scottie Pippen Jr.
Right.
And they took us to double overtime.
Yeah.
And we were actually down 5 with like a minute 30 left, and they had the ball, and they were playing stall ball and taking a minute off the clock every possession the whole game. And Victor came up with a big block, led into Gerald Butler's 3. Then we were able to get a quick steal, tie the game up, take it in overtime, and we ended up winning in 2 overtimes. And then we actually lost districts that year to Vernon and Basha. And we went on the road in regionals to beat them. And then we played Kevin Knox's team in the championship. And we were down 1 in the end of the third, and we ended up winning by 15. So those, I mean, along the way, it was key calls with our staff that we had to make. It was mentorship with a lot of the players off the floor to diffuse situations. Like a lot went into that season and stuff like that, and that was our 4th year there. And it's all about building. I think what we're building now is continuing to be special, but it started with that platform and that foundation with the older guys and stuff like that. But and just building a family aspect was big too. But I think coaching is more gratifying for sure. And then as far as my faith, I gave my life to Christ 2003 in spring of my freshman year in college, right in my dorm room. You know, I wasn't in the church or anything. God saved my soul right there in my room, in my dorm room, watching TBN. And I gave my life to Christ, and just a lot of my attitudes, my thought process was changed dramatically. Just trying to focus on the Word and building my faith, and and navigating as an athlete on that level. And I was also doing modeling things and doing the entertainment side of things. It was easy to get any girl I wanted on campus, and a lot of times, I think that was probably my biggest struggle, because of just generational things that were passed down through my father's side, and so that was probably one of the biggest things. But just seeing what my mother had to go through, just the way my father treated her, as far as in their marriage, helped me change my outlook on treating different women and things like that. And so it helped me to become a better husband for my wife right now, and just being a role model for the kids to focus on God with everything, you know. And so he's been everything to me, and the Holy Spirit's been guiding me through the day. And I just try to be a model citizen for everybody, and just being able to help kids out and navigate through their faith, and the doors that God can open, man, is unbelievable, for sure. Like, and the people that he can put in your life, and the favor that he puts upon your life is awesome. It's awesome. You can't replace it, you know, with any skill or talent that you have.
Yeah, I just want to say, Cilk, you and Coach Randall are role models, and as we know, young people don't necessarily do as you say, but they do as you do. And it's a credit to both you gentlemen and how you carry yourself, not just on the court, but off the court as well. So I just wanted to get that in there as well. And I wanted to ask both of you, in all that we've seen unfold the last few months with George Floyd and these protests, these statues, Confederate statues being torn down. And Josh, if you do want to chime in, feel free. What do you want to tell your players, or what have you? I know, Coach Randall, you have yet to meet the returning players, but I just wanted to ask you, what would be your message to your players, just of what we've seen the last maybe 5 months, and to kind of help them move ahead with everything that has gone on?
Well, the thing with that has been going on for the past few months, and then explaining to my players when I have this meet and greet on the 25th, is to kind of let them understand is like Phil said about faith. Faith is very, very important, but still understand what went. How it was with our ancestors and up until now, and it's still going on, and to really school them or educate them on how to react to a police officer, or even when you're encountered in a racial situation, you know, and don't take those things for granted, and understand that however you were brought up, and understanding how your parents brought you up, and or your guardian, your brother, uncle, or whomever brought you up, and just stick to that, and understand actually what is going on in today's society, and that there are changes that are being made, you know, through the protesting and all of that, and just to stand up for what you feel that is right, and actually walk by faith.
Okay. So,
I would say we actually had a lot of faculty meetings. The last 2 weeks we just started school today actually, but the last 2 weeks and a half we had a lot of faculty meetings, and the pastor talked to a lot of the teachers. Well, a couple of different people, but one of the most touching messages from the pastor. He was just talking about there's certain kids that you may encounter in your class. To the teachers, he was just encouraging them to just to have empathy and be able to have those conversations with maybe other teachers and stuff on what they went through, because we just started a leadership course for our team today at the school, and we actually brushed up on it, and I just talked to them about what are some things to that we could do as a team to invite necessary conversations with other students or the community, and I think that Calvary has holds a lot of weight as far as we could probably get the chief of police from one of the cities to come and be able just to talk to him and dialogue, and I also mentioned to the school that I think we need to have an African American Studies course that Calvary needs to offer to be able to educate not only white kids or Caucasian kids, but kids, black kids, because there's a lot of different things that I've learned the past few months as far as redlining, the term redlining, and how different African American families were not given loans from banks and lenders to be forced into different parts of the city, and that caused the academic schools that they're in to not be as widely available and learn as much as the other schools in the suburbs and stuff like that. And all that translates to years after years. We see differences in that. And just talking about, I learned some other things, different states where lynchings were widely accepted. Down in the South and in Georgia and Alabama, most of the lynchings were there. Like I think if younger kids learn different things about what people of color went through year after year in the early society, I think that'll change their mindset and to view different things different, and probably encourage them to have different conversations with their parents too, because a lot of their parents might not even know those things as well, and so I encourage them to see if we could do that. And I heard the NCAA is actually making it mandatory as a core course for kids to take that as a requirement before they get into college. And I think that would open up a lot of things as well, doors as well, to invite quality conversations. And that's what I like to call it, because sometimes you need to hear the heart of different people and stuff, because I've been pulled over a couple different times in my past for no reason, and I'm pretty sure Coach Randall has, and you as well, Fabian. But it's like people probably will never even know that that even exists if they don't talk, or conversate. So I think it's huge, and I think that we as a community at Calvary could change a lot of things, even within just us. Like, you're talking about a 15,000 member church, that's throughout the community and throughout the state, because there's multiple branches, and there's more churches in different countries that are Calvary associated under the umbrella. That I think that our pastor, Pastor Doug, is leading the troops well and doing a great job.
Okay, all right. And once again, we're here at Game Changers with Fabian Lyon. I'm delighted to have as guests Coach Melvin Randall in his Chaminade hat, and Coach Cilk McSweeney from Calvary Christian out of Fort Lauderdale, and Josh Minott. He is a Memphis commit, 6'9", out of Boca St. Andrews. Delighted to have all three of you on. And Josh, if you want to speak on that as well, feel free. Just what you have witnessed the past couple months through your eyes, and is there anything that you want to tell people that would better support basketball players, or you believe athletes overall during this whole history that we're seeing unfold the last couple months?
Well, I mean, speak on, the last topic. I mean, I grew up in a place where, it's not really, predominantly African American, so I don't really, witness a lot of that stuff happen. But I mean, it's not to say I don't know what goes on. I mean, I'm around people in my life that I'm like surrounded with, that I respect and I learn from every single day. And I know they definitely been through that. So I understand, what's going on. I mean, the way I see it, I mean, we're all human. I mean, everyone has the right to be, treated as humans. That's about it, to be honest. In terms of, saying anything, I basically live by, what my uncle told me. So I don't think I'll ever forget it, all honest. He told me, work now or work later, but you're going to work, in life. So it's I just put in the work now and secure my future, or just relax, do nothing, and then my future will come to me. And next thing you know, job, I don't want to work, So I'm really just investing my future from now rather than, waiting and just, dealing with the outcome.
Okay. And how have you managed with the pandemic as far as just adjusting, to school, a different way of school maybe, and your training regimens? How have you kind of come up with a new formula?
I'm still working through all the disturbance. I mean, I know my school starts, I think, Monday. That's going to be online, I think, until the 10th. And then we'll go back in. But in terms of basketball, I mean, nothing's changed. I practice Monday through Friday, during summer. Coach Gray and I really working on that skill work again. And then I've been going to the weight room every single day at 5:30. So, I mean, definitely nothing's changed. I mean, I'm always going to get that work, and I don't think there's, anything other than an injury that's going to ever stop me from putting in work. I mean, like I said, I'm in love with the game, man. I know all that the opportunities it's brought me. I mean, I know it's still a whole bunch of opportunities that I can bring me. I mean, it helped me get into high school. I mean, now, help me get into college. I mean, I just know there's a whole lot of stuff that it can bring me in the future.
Okay. All right. I also wanted to touch on the NBA, and does it seem like the real NBA in a bubble, or does it seem like, you tell me, and what has been your observations so far? I'm going to start with our Coach Randall.
Well, I tell you what, the computer does wonders, and making it seem when you're looking in the background,
Right.
it's just like there are fans there, and you can feel that, and in looking, at the TV and looking at these NBA games, kind of makes me feel that I'm there,
Right.
in the stands cheering these young men on. But I think the NBA got it right, and putting these athletes on this bubble, and going through the quarantine and the safety hazards through this pandemic. And I'm loving it, actually, and getting a chance to see, these teams compete throughout these playoffs, and identify some players that I didn't know, and really zoom in on them, like the Kemba Walker, that I feel that is my type of player, and Damian, who could pull up from anywhere on the court,
Right.
and I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it.
I figured you would pick a guard, Coach. If there was any position you'd pick, I figured you would pick a guard over a big. So
I'm guard oriented, and that's how my blueprint is set up, and having the guard to really direct or lead my team in this journey here.
Okay. And Josh, who's your team to eventually win it all, and what has been your observation so far, games that you see?
Not saying I like them, but I mean, I can't see an outcome where the Lakers don't come on top. I'd like to see the Clippers. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the Clippers have a good chance. I'd like to see them. Paul George, and I really like watching this game. But I can't see an outcome where the Lakers are winning it, man. I don't know. But I really enjoy watching the games. I mean, like Coach Randall said, different players coming to light. Like, geez, I forgot who was going back and forth with Jimmy Butler, TJ Warren. Like these new players just coming out shining. I feel like there's less background noise. I mean, it's all basketball now. They're not playing for the fans or for the clout. I feel like it's just real basketball now. They're really just going out there and to really play and win the game.
No doubt. Seems like less distractions and not looking for celebrities in the stand, and it's just basketball. Okay. Coach Cilk, who do you like to come out a bit with the trophy, and what's been your observations so far?
I personally think the Clippers are gonna probably win it. I think like Josh said, that was like, man, these guys are just hooping, and that's been cool to see. But I was talking to some of the guys today, some of my players today, and they were telling me certain guys who are out and hurt, which I didn't know. And so that I think that affects it a lot. Like with Milwaukee losing the first game to Orlando, then I found out Gordon's been hurt. Like, and then I think Denver just lost to Jazz. I know they're down 15. And Denver's losing 2 starters. So I was just finding out about a lot of teams today, but I just think with Montrezl Harrell coming back for the Clippers,
Right.
Adding, I mean, they're just so deep. Patrick Beverly just came back off injury. Like, I don't see anybody being in a 7-game series. And I think the Lakers could have and had a chance to, but they're losing. The Rondo's out. Rondo's out, and their bench hasn't been playing well, and they're not shooting the 3 well at all. And so they're crowding the paint. LeBron's having to make those passes. AD ain't posting up as much, and they went like 5 for 36 from the 3. And CJ McCollum didn't even play well.
Right.
So CJ McCollum has a big game 2. Dame has been balling out every game, been consistent. Big boy's nice. They had a dude that was hurt too. Their 4-man, the big boy.
Collins, I believe.
Who?
Collins.
Yeah, exactly. Collins was out last game, and then Melo's been playing well, hitting big shots, and so Portland. I'm telling you, I think Portland might. I called it before the series started. Portland. They do not want to see Portland. They do not want to see Portland. Portland finished out the regular season well, beat Memphis first game playing, and then now they just beat Lakers. So,
what is it about the postseason, Coach Randall? What changes the most in the postseason? Do you believe?
Are you talking about at the NBA level?
No, I'm talking about high school right now.
High school?
For you, yeah.
Well, my thing with that is that I will play anyone. I mean, I can set up a schedule where I can win 20 games every season.
Mm-hmm.
But will the kids or will I in the long run benefit from that? No.
Mm-hmm.
So I like playing against the best in preparation, whether we win or lose.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get to the playoffs, we've been through that.
Right.
So we're able to play at a competitive capacity, and with our game plan and my coaching staff mindset, which I will brag and say I have one of the best coaching staff in the country that really helps me and help the kids in preparing for the playoffs and to go on to that final game, excuse me, and then at least have a chance at becoming state champions.
Mm-hmm. Josh, how was it in last year's run to state in terms of the intensity that you felt from the last regular season game leading up to the state final? Just describe that for everybody.
I mean, like Coach Randall said, I mean, it's really just that preparation, we played some pretty good teams. I mean, nobody wants to go like, 25-0. I mean, next thing you're getting upset, I mean, it's really just the challenges, that preparation. I know once playoff starts, man, it's that winner go home, mentality. It's fight or flight, you can't really underestimate anyone. Good teams that knock you out. I mean, you really get one shot. Nobody really cares about what you did in the past. Everything's building up to that game night. The whole season's led up to that one game. I mean, it's like, you messed up. You have a quote unquote bad game, or an unlucky game. It's a wrap. Nobody really cares. So, every game, on that postseason, definitely gave it our all. Like, I know the team that Coach Cilk's Calvary out. I remember Santa Fe. They're ranked #1, and I'm pretty sure it was regardless of class, actually, right? They're ranked #1, I think, out of all the classes.
You talking about Santa Fe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were ranked #1 regardless of class. Like all. And I mean, I really felt like I'm not sure what they were thinking. I'm not sure if they had like a big head. I mean, you came in there like thirsty, man. I mean, it was a long car ride. Like, you should have seen it, man. But when we got there, we're walking out, we're stiff. We're like, there's no way in hell you just drove 3 hours for an L.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're there to kill, man. They woke up, in their own beds, all of that. They were just relaxing, and we woke up, it was a business trip, man. We were not playing games. So, needless to say, we came out of that, I had a pretty impressive game. We played a great team game. Came out winning by like 21 points. I don't think anyone could have expected that. I mean, it's just when playoffs comes around, man, it's a different breed. You don't want to really mess around in playoffs.
Right. So you had the whole team had that proverbial chip on their shoulder, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Fabian, I got a couple questions for the guests.
Yeah.
Melvin, my first question would be how just seeing your teams over the years, what would you say your recipe is for having your guys playing so hard defensively and buying into that?
I would have to say, got to instill in them that, nothing's going to be handed to them. And then buying into my recipe or my style of play, they know one thing, that they're going to have to work hard in order to step on that court. Okay, if you're considered the best player or the lesser skill developed player, you have to have that attitude and wanting to grind and to play hard and be able to play for 32 minutes. And I also let them know that, we have some parents, I know some uncles or relatives that feel that their child should play regardless of what situation it may be. Mm-hmm. But there's a difference when it comes to putting kids in certain situations.
Yeah.
And it's based on my evaluation of them in practice. Mm-hmm. And I just instill in them that you're going to have to play hard and you're going to have to compete. And that's the only way to be in between those black lines.
Yeah.
And some of them buy into it and some don't. But I've been blessed in having a great number of them buying into the system and instilling that into their minds and wanting to be out on that floor.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I appreciate that. And then, Josh, I wanted to ask you, were you able to take any college visits during this time, like to help you make that choice, or it was just basically communication?
I've only had one official visit, and that was to Dayton, and that was a while back. That was like before the season. But during Corona, I didn't visit anywhere. All my information basically came from Zoom calls, my own research, of that school.
Yeah. Was it tough not to go to the Anthony Polite route?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, they told me, they're like, yeah, I'm telling you, once you get on campus, because that was the main thing that had Anthony hooked to FSU was his visit. He said after his visit, he knew it was a done deal. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely feel like, I really missed out on the chance to experience the atmosphere of the schools.
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel like I just had to, use my own reasoning, stuff like that. And just it was a tough decision. I can't lie. It wasn't like I just knew. There was a time where I was hell bent on a different school. I wasn't Memphis. I mean, one time, but
Yeah.
it just changes. And then you also have to read and react with the different commits that were going on too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the one thing that I hated what happened with your class, man. You guys didn't get to experience that, like being able to take visits and stuff like that, especially with picking a school a little earlier too, before the season started.
I know me personally. I mean, I'm not really that like sad about it. I mean, I really I recognize I'm not really like a selfish person. I mean, I really recognize that there are undervalued players out there. And, those are players I really feel bad for. I have my teammates, where it probably got snubbed out of some looks because of lack of a travel season. I mean, I feel like that junior travel season is like the most exposure you're ever gonna get in your life in terms of college. So now it's basically they're reliant on different showcases we've been doing, and that school basketball, which not really college coaches are really there. So I really feel bad for them, and that lack of opportunity to really go out there, explore the country, really get those looks.
Yeah, I mean, I can guarantee all three of us can say if we told our players, hey, March 15th, you won't be playing any AAU basketball. This is it. Those every kid will have played a little bit harder. I really believe that.
I
Uh,
agree with
and,
you on that.
yeah, and it's unfortunate because you tell the kids, man, this may be you. It's kind of cliche, man. This might be your last time playing, man. Make it last, make it work, and in reality it was, and unfortunately you guys were able to win that last game, Josh, and we weren't, able to even get to that game, but I mean, that was my thing with them. Like, man, you never know what could happen, so. Um, but I have two kids. One, Dylan Canterville, you know him, Josh. Like he needed that. He needed that extra couple tournaments for exposure and things like that. So I'm trying to help him get to some of these live stream things that we're gonna play in shortly. And then I have a kid. I don't know if you guys remember Tim Dowger. He
I remember
graduated.
too.
Yeah, Tim is a freshman at Independence Junior College, didn't make the grades, but he actually has 15 offers now, and he hasn't been able to take one visit. And I'm trying to help him navigate through picking some of his better options, because September 29th or September 28th, they might lift the recruiting period, the dead period for kids to travel on campus, but some of the coaches are saying it may not happen. So he may have to go with – that's why I asked you, Josh, did you get the visit? And he may have to just decide on by just talking. And that's tough. Like, that's definitely tough.
Josh, what was the biggest surprise maybe in the recruiting process? And also, coaches, what has been the biggest surprise? You can take some time to think about it in your coaching careers that maybe you weren't aware of, but it put you in a situation that it became the biggest surprise. I'm going to start with you, Josh. What was the biggest surprise maybe this whole recruiting process for you?
Surprise. I mean, aside from the whole pandemic, I mean, geez. Like another big surprise. I mean, I really look, Yusuf, because I mean he's been through it, recruiting.
Teammate, right? Good friend.
And I think my biggest surprise, I was shocked when he told me he had actually called the colleges that he wasn't going to inform them. It had never slipped my mind you know, that like, 'cause I always knew, you know, like you can only go to one college. I always known that, you know, you can only choose one. But it never slipped my mind that you have to inform all these other colleges that you're not going to their school.
Right.
And that might have been the hardest, like, phone calls I've ever made in my life. Like, it was, like, you know, I mean, they're all supportive. You know, there's no one that was just like, you know, yeah, screw you. You know, like, there's no one like cursing out or anything. But you can just hear like distraught, you know, like especially the ones in my top 5 as well. Like you could just hear it in their voice, and it was just that. I think that was my biggest surprise in the recruiting process. Just really talking to these people and just letting them know that like I'm not going to their school.
Right. Wow, that must have been quite an experience, just repeating that call over and over again to some of these colleges. So, how about you, Coach Randall? What comes to mind as far as biggest surprise?
The biggest surprise to me that comes to mind is when I just decided to make this transition and wanting to start a new beginning after being at a certain place for so long, you know, after being at Ely for 18, 19 years, and then all of a sudden, you know, you wake up and I email the assistant principal who's over athletics and just state short and sweet that as of today, I am stepping down as the head boys basketball coach and wanting to really challenge the private sector. So that was kind of surprising to me, as well as a lot of, you know, supporters that are in the community of Ely and Pompano area, of course, and also outside of Pompano area. I know it was a great surprise, but I had more supporters in making this decision to try the private sector opposed to I call them hecklers, or feel that, you know, once you're at a particular location for so long, you're basically locked in there and there's no leaving until or unless death, so to speak. But that was surprising to me, just to wake up, and that was like 2 Mondays ago, and to just email my principal or my assistant principal and tell them that I was stepping down and wanting to, I'm going on to try different avenues at Chaminade Madonna.
How are you, Cilk? What stands out for you?
About the recruiting aspect, I would say the biggest thing is there's a lot of job turnover, and what I recommend to kids are, like, you can't solely go to a place because of the coaching staff, because they're gonna say something to you at that time, you know, but you never know if they're gonna be there a year or two down the line, you know, and so it's important to know how you fit in that city, know the different things that they offer as far as your future outside of the game, and so that's been my biggest key and advice to our kids, like especially Greg Glenn, Taylor Hendricks. They're incoming juniors. They're getting called all the time from major schools, and so them helping navigate on who their top 10 is going to be, and deciding those different things. Those are the biggest things. I mean, coaches call me all the time. I got them saved under a different number, and they're at another school, you know. So it's not just what a coach says, but just the best situation, best fit for you as well. So,
And Josh, is that how you felt was the best fit? Not just coaches saying, "Oh, you're going to be the man here," but I know you had to look beyond what everybody was, all the nice things that everybody was saying, and what about Memphis made it the best fit for you?
Well, I mean, I already knew that, every school is going to be the best position. I really had to, look through all that. I broke it into, I broke it up to 4 like pillars, I'd say, and just like the program. My first one was, player development. Like how can they develop me into a better player? Really prepare me for the next level. Second was relationship with the coaching staff. Like a coach I respect, a coach that, is going to be there. Like, Coach Cilk said, like what's their relationship with the school? Do they have loyalty to that school? The third one is my fit into their style of play. Like, Coach Randall, he has that guard style of play. I mean, he's looking for guards. I'm not really sure if I mean, I'm sure he could use a 7-footer, but, really let's see how I fit into the system. Is it a fit that I like, And then finally, my fourth pillar I said was stage, Even if I do fit into it, as all the other ones, is it a place where I'm going to be recognized, by the people I need to be recognized to really build opportunities for that next level? It can be a great opportunity, great school, great development, but it's really going to, somewhere I can be seen. You really have to get yourself out there and focus on marketing yourself. So that was really what I had, built up, and that was what I was looking for. And I felt like, Memphis really provided the best out of those 4 pillars.
Okay. The fact that Coach Hardaway obviously has some great connections to the league, how big of a factor was that, having played in All-Star himself?
I mean, all honesty, man, like, it's every kid's dream to go to the NBA. I mean, if you ask a kid who's playing basketball, like, if he wants to go to NBA and he says no, it's either he's lying or he doesn't like the game. He does not want to play for the game. Like,
right.
A serious basketball player on this earth that does not want to play in the NBA. I can promise you that. It's just that simple. So, I mean, I was really just looking, to see who provided that best opportunity. I know Coach definitely has those connections. I've looked into, all the information that they sent me, and I really, verified and all that. I really feel like, they have those connections. I know it wasn't really a huge factor, but I definitely know that, not everyone, almost nobody makes it into NBA, it's really just how much work you put in that development. And I just really felt like Memphis really provided that.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, go ahead, Coach.
As kudos and listening to Josh, I would like to give praise to himself as well as his high school coaches, as well as his parents, because this kid really, he has it figured out, and he's done his research, and he knows what he wants, and it looks like he's going to go after it. So I just want to give praise to you and your parents, as well as your high school coaches and AAU.
Much respect to you, and I definitely as a winner, man. I mean, every time I see those rings, it's like you just gotta respect them, man. We playing against each other, man, but I'll give you that respect,
It's a blessing. It's a blessing,
Okay. So anything you'd like to add before we close?
No, I mean, it's been a pleasure, guys, and we could be on here all night, man. But
no doubt.
Right.
I mean, I'll definitely we'll see Josh soon, August 29th. We play. We're gonna play.
Got a circle on the calendar.
We got like a little live stream event that Prep is doing. So we're gonna have a little scrimmage and stuff, and it's gonna be good for the kids, for coaches to see and start building some chemistry with our guys and stuff like that. And then Coach Randall, we'll definitely see you guys soon too, around. But I appreciate you guys, man. And Fabian, it's been all love the last 20, 25 years, man. And you're a great guy, and we love what you're doing with the basketball community and sports. And we appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you too, man. Appreciate all of you.
Exactly. Hey, it doesn't get any better than this. This is better than the Oprah Winfrey Show. This is the Fabian Lions Show. Can't get any better than this.
That means a lot coming from both of you, man. And I just want to wish each and every one of you. I know you're in the same classification, but nonetheless, starting with Mr. Josh here, just a pleasure. First time in-depth conversation with you. You're a wonderful young man, a role model in your own right. Wishing you the best. Your senior year, close it out strong, and on your way to Memphis, big time move there. And Cilk, your transition from star player Dillard to now just a hungry and just humble, great young coach, man. It's great to see. And obviously, Coach Randall, the GOAT, not nearly done yet. You have obviously aspirations to add to all those rings that Josh has been talking about. And all the best to you. Everybody be blessed. Thanks for coming on. And I appreciate all the support. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. If you could go on YouTube, like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And God bless all of you.
Thank you. The same to you guys. And you guys be safe.
All right. Take care, guys.
Be safe. See you down the road.